We are here with Luke. How you going, brother?
Splendid.
Fantastic. All right, you ran Heroes, eh?
We did.
Mate, show me that deck.
This is a very stock standard hero profile that you'll probably see everywhere, with a few fun cards that I like to put in.
A bit more budget, because we don't have the money for that. Those kind of cards.
No, only the cheap evil heroes.
Yeah.
But still did well. It was good. So, one, Elemental Honest Neos. Honestly, that was... Actually, that's probably MVP. There's probably a tying for MVP. This literally, I made a guy curse many times. He was very annoyed that I kept dropping it every single game. But I literally saw it in my hand almost every single game. 3 Stratos, obvious reasons. Absolute monster of a card. I run 2 Solid Soldier. If you're running like the Evil Hero engine because you got a ton of money and you just blew it on a wonderful adjusted gold and stuff, you might want to cut these down to 1. 2 Shadow Mist. Great recurring, sending things to the graveyard, adding more heroes to my hand.
You
Silly.
want to get Dark Claw.
1 Bubble Man. Absolute Zero is a great card, and so Bubble Man's just fun. He will one day be retired for Liquid Man, but for the meantime, we enjoy a good Bubble Man.
Very expensive.
Yeah, and then Bubble Man will live on.
Remain.
1 Plasma.
Oh,
Great card.
MVP for going first.
Honestly, going second, really good.
Oh, yeah.
3 monsters, place them down, take whatever you want from the opponent,
True,
call it
yeah.
a day. 3 Malicious, because why the heck not? 2 Vion. Some people run it 1. Once again, it's grind game. The amount of times that you add it to your hand. I was playing a Trickstar player. He banished 12 cards. One of those was a Vion, and luckily I had a second one on my deck, so I could actually resolve it. 2 Increase, 3 Ferris. Typical Vision Hero package. I played 2 Evil Heroes, Necrom and Malicious Edge. They basically are essentially another Destiny Hero Malicious. It's just that kind of...
That's sick.
You can dump another one, add another card when you just need that little bit extra push. And they do piercing damage, so honestly, well, he does piercing damage, so you never know when that comes in handy. Last monsters I run are 3 Gammasil. The reason why is... Going second, yes, because they're always fun. They do kick you in the crotch a little bit when you're wanting to use extra Hero Cross Crusader because you can't have summoned anything but hero monsters that turn. But honestly, it's worth it in the end. And with Super Poly, you make absolute zero using their Kaiju. 2 Polys. A lot of people run 1. The amount of times I poly twice in a turn, it's like, you need it sometimes. 1 Rhoda. 1 Monster Reborn. Great way to resolve Shadow Mist. So if you can't special summon Shadow Mist on the field, just dump to the graveyard, don't use her effect, then just Monster Reborn her out. You get Mass Change, you get Dark Law. It's really handy. 1 Hero Lives, the default thing that everyone ashed. 3 Ecall Emergency. 2 Fusion Destiny. I had it at 3 and I'd literally see 2 every single time I pulled a hand. And that's really just a secondary engine. Like, it's... Some people run that. So what it does is basically just fusion summons a monster from your extra deck using cards in your deck. So it is silly, but people run like so it dumps Malicious and it dumps like Shadow Mist or something like that. But people run like Dystopia and that kind of stuff. But it kind of like you're adding like 2, 3, 4 more Destiny Hero cards than you actually want to see, and that's not what you want. So I'll get to extra deck in a second. Last cards are 3 Mass Change because I want to see them.
How did Dark Law do for you today?
Dark Law was probably tying for MVP as well. It's great. But honestly, people still have outs for Dark Law. So you need 2 Dark Laws, which came up. And that's how I beat Orcists.
Oh, very good.
Once.
Look, I didn't beat them once, so you did better than me.
Fun. Extra deck. We have a plethora of monsters. We have our other MVP. Because honestly, in testing, I never actually... used Trinity at all, but I pretty much made him every single game, and he's really the reason why I won any games.
Yeah. And without a Malicious Bane, he's definitely the best second option to just
even with a Malicious Bane, because Malicious Bane wipes boards, but if you don't have a stack of monsters to then attack open OTK, then you kind of just don't finish. Whereas Trinity, oftentimes they just, especially if they've built a board up, it's like goodbye.
Yeah, very true.
Or just board wipes, because you can literally just attack 3 times. I versed him a Dolce where the guy had the Link monster that saved himself, and I was like, okay, I'll just attack again. And he was like, oh crap. And lost a stack more life points because his monster kept saving him. So it's a great way of getting over things. It was my backup to get over Thunder Dragon Colossus, because I would just keep attacking him if I needed to. And we have a pair of Dark Laws because you actually you need more than one Dark Law.
It's a rude card.
Anki because Anki's amazing. Vision Hero Adoration because you just need a generic 2 hero target sometimes when you just need to clear. Guys, Starving Venom, that's for Super Poly. Resolved at once, did nothing, but it's just there if you need it. Masked Heroes, Blast was just for back row. Acid, which I'm still waiting for the day to resolve him, but man, he's good.
What is it? What does Acid do?
Acid is when he is special summon, he destroys all back row, basically. All spells and traps your opponent controls.
That's sick.
And then monsters they control lose attack, but it's basically just board wiping. Speaking of board wiping, Absolute Zero, which if he leaves the field, so if he's bounced, if he's banished,
insane,
anything, he destroys all monsters on your opponent's side of the field, which is, if you have him mask change into Acid, it's game. But also, prime target for if anyone leaves an Abyss Dweller on the field, if anyone leaves, if you kaiju them, he's your target. Speaking of Abyss Dweller, one Abyss Dweller that I never resolved. He was just there in case of emergency. Last fusion guy is Destiny Hero Dangerous. And so the reason why I have him over like Dystopia or something like that is because he's one Destiny monster, which is Malicious, and one Dark monster, which is Shadow Mist, which adds a card to your hand. Evil Hero Sinister Necrom, which will then special summon out your Malicious Edge. So it's basically like just another target for you to get something in the graveyard, as opposed to having to put 2 Destiny Hero cards in for some benefit. But it's like, in the end of the day, you want to OTK them, and you don't need Dystopia to OTK or anything else that. So 2 Cross Crusaders, 1 Wonder Drive, never needed him, but definitely have in the past of just being able to recycle polymerizations and that type of stuff. And Dread Decimator, who is wonderful because he does piercing damage. He usually gains, by the time you finish the turn, you probably have like 8 different heroes in your graveyard or more. So that's 800 attack for your plethora of monsters. So you really have a great OTK with him. Side deck, we're almost done.
Side decking, let's do this.
3 Twin Twisters, they obviously came up. 2 Red Reboots, I hate them so much. I drew both of them.
They are good, but
I drew, my opening hand was this one time, and I was just, it was not what you wanted to see. But no, they're actually very handy. There just wasn't that many trap-based decks. 3 Call by the Grave. I thought they'd be fantastic against Orcus until I realized that they would just chain all manner of ridiculous things and avoid them completely. So
Orcus sucks.
Unless you are targeting Dingirsa with this, like honestly, you can't target anything in their graveyard. They are very crafty but good. Droll, in case I came across pendulums, rituals, anything else like that, never needed them. 1 extra Super Poly in case you needed it, but once again, actually no, I sided in a bunch of times, but didn't really need it. And last, Lancia, because I was like, hey, Orcus, they banish. There's a bunch of decks banished, never used it at all.
Lancia's good.
Because I was like, at the end of the day, I could stop them from banishing, or I could Super Poly them, or Kaiju them, and then go from there. So it's kind of like, that was my thinking in my only 1 Orcus matchup, but that was the thinking behind that. So never really did much with that, but there are some wonderful heroes for you all. Enjoy yourselves.
Oh, fantastic. Well, thank you so much for sharing your deck profile.
It's okay, my pleasure.
You have a good night.